I'd probably ask something like along the lines of like what makes Christianity the correct religion. I mean, there's so many.
What's different about it?
Yeah, why is it? And then in that, not at all trying to be like disrespectful, but like, how come you get to say that's correct, but then someone of like a Muslim faith is wrong?
Yeah.
But then they also think the same thing, and then so does every other sector of religion. So just like, how come you're correct and everybody else is wrong?
Welcome back to the Finding Something Real podcast, friend. This is your host, Janelle Wood, and I am very excited today to be introducing a new co-host, somebody that I can't wait for you to get to know, and also because I'm excited to get to know her myself. Katelyn, welcome to the Finding Something Real podcast.
Hello. I didn't realize this. Is this a podcast? Are people going to be looking at me?
They might be looking at you. Yeah.
Okay.
You did sign something that said that was okay. I don't know. Actually, that brings up a good point. So you and I, we met, what was it, like a year ago?
Yeah, like a graduation party.
At a graduation party. Whose graduation party was that? Do you remember?
Amelia's?
Amelia's. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. And so we were hanging out and we started talking and you were really cool. And I found out that you were a teacher and you knew some of my kids, which was neat.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian, my husband, knew you and you were talking about wanting to get a job. You were waiting to like find out if you got a job.
Yeah, I don't think it was quite like official yet. I only found out after school ended. Like a couple of weeks after.
Yeah. You were kind of in this place of like, you didn't know if you were going to be able to move or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
but I really liked you, I remember. And then we found out we had a mutual friend, Kaylee.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, yeah, she's my best friend. I was like, what? No way. Mm-hmm. And then we connected a little bit before you left for London. And then just recently, Kaylee and I were talking about you because we were talking about the podcast. She was like my friend. And we talked about this when we did the in-person thing too, but she was like, yeah, Kaylee probably won't come on. That's not her thing. And I was like, well, that's a challenge now. Now I got to like see if there's any way to get her to come on this podcast. So what happened? What happened on your end?
I'm a people pleaser.
You wouldn't be the first one.
Say no to such kindness, and that's all you've shown. So it would kind of be like kicking a puppy if I said no.
Oh my word! Really?
I mean, you also then you really sold it. You're talking all about how cool it was going to be, and there was going to be free food, and you get a surprise Kaylee. And
I did. I worked it pretty good, didn't I?
You did.
Well, you got to use what you got. You got to use what you got. So I'm so glad you said yes. It actually worked out perfect. You came on Tuesday when we recorded. This was a few weeks ago. By the time this airs, it'll be a couple months before probably. And it was a really, well, I have a perspective of how it went, but I'd love to hear yours because I haven't heard from you since we met. And we are like a whole ocean apart. So you can say whatever you want. You feel free to kick the puppy. Okay.
Oh, but I can see your eyes from
here. No way. No. Tell the truth. I really want to hear it.
Yeah, it was cool. I don't remember many of the girls' names, but I did get their notes that they sent over. That was really nice. It's in I have a pouch of things that I'm going to scrapbook with, and that's going to be part of it, or junk journal with. So they're going to be pasted in there, their kind words. It was cool. It was really fun. I didn't know what to expect. So like being able to sit on a couch and like being mic'd up and sitting, so it was really cool. Cool.
Well, I thought it was really cool. It was really interesting because we'd never done anything like that before. And you and I hadn't had a deep conversation up until that point. And so like I turned to you and we just started talking about your faith journey a little bit, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But was that bizarre for you? I mean, you were the only one at that couch. There were a total of nine of us. So 8 of you, 1 of me. And you were the only one who probably would say like you were an atheist or not a believer at all. So did it feel bizarre or did it feel okay?
I didn't even I asked Kaylee before and I was like, am I going to be the only one there? I wasn't entirely, I had no idea what to expect. And it wasn't until we were sat down and everyone else was talking that I was kind of like, Okay. But it was good.
I don't know you well enough, but I know your personality long enough to think you could handle it. I think you were
Yeah,
okay.
it was, and I mean, I knew that this wasn't going to be some sort of like a "Meh" kind of podcast, so I wasn't planning on feeling attacked, and I didn't at all.
Yeah.
And I tried really hard to like reciprocate that
You did.
respectfulness. So yeah, it was awesome. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
I
Cool.
think I said
Cool.
cool about a dozen times.
Yeah. That's all right. That's all right. I just said cool too when I was talking about. I mean, it was cool. It was really fun, and I think your being there too allowed people to be more open about their questions too. Because you weren't the only one with questions or things that you wrestle with or whatever, and maybe you don't wrestle with them at all, but you open up the door for people who maybe do. So thank you for that. Thank you for being like an adventurer and saying yes to the puppy over here. I mean, I'm like really glad.
It was not a bad metaphor. It was meant with positive connotations, I swear.
No, no. I love it. I love it. And then you and Kaylee, who have been friends since middle school, really good friends.
Mhm.
It was also cool because you guys got to share a little bit about having never really talked about these things. Despite the fact that for there's like a really pretty melody playing right now. Is that your phone
That
or is
is
that
the ice
outside?
cream truck outside. It might
Oh,
get really loud, and I'm so sorry. It sounds
no,
haunting the closer
no,
it
no.
gets.
No, it's very pretty. It's like a bougie, like in London, they must have really nice ice cream trucks. No?
No, they sell drugs.
Okay. What part of London are you living in? No, I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's
I'm sure
good.
there's also ice cream.
Now, you were working at a Catholic school, right? In
Yeah.
London? Okay. Are you
Mhm.
going to a Catholic school? Is this
No,
another? Okay.
it's
No.
just a regular public school.
Okay. All right. Okay. So before I jump ahead of myself, so you and Kaylee talked about your friendship, but also how you never really had these deeper conversations. How come? Why do you think that never happened in all those years?
I mean, I had asked questions before of like, I think she mentioned that of like, she is my highway, basically, of any sort of information that I don't just want to like Google.
Yeah.
Um, we've, out of like the decade or so, however old we're getting, it genuinely, our deep conversations didn't feel like it needed to touch on faith.
Hmm.
I've had a couple of conversations with like her mom, and she's always been also like awesome about it, but like it just never came up on my end
Yeah.
um, of interested in like telling her or hearing her. I'm not sure if
Hmm.
it was that way for her either, but it just we had so many other things to talk about,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So I want to hear your story. So you didn't grow up in Washington State where I met you. You grew up in Europe.
Yeah, I was born on an army base in Oklahoma, and we moved out of there after a couple of months. I don't remember it, thank God. But
Sorry, Oklahoma,
unless you have Oklahoma listeners, but come on.
maybe.
And then my dad got transferred to Mons, Belgium, on a
Okay.
military base. So I grew up on like a compound with a chateau and like a guard shack. So it was pretty awesome to be surrounded by such gorgeous old forests and buildings and things like that.
Hmm.
Uh, and it just never was prevalent. I knew about it and I knew that others believed it. Going to a shape school as well, so it was another military school. It was really diverse. So like I remember seeing kids with like hijabs and other sorts of religious wear, and
Hmm.
you're a kid and it's kind of just like, oh yeah, that kid wears like cloth on his head. It's fine.
Yeah.
um,
So when you
and
say you grew up like aware of it, are you talking about religion in general? Is that
yeah, I mean, we never had. I never went to church. I never went to any type of school or classes where I like was handed a Bible. I'm not actually sure
Mhm.
how it goes, but I was never given any sort of those sorts of things. My mom and dad had brought it up, but we didn't pray. We didn't do any of that sort of stuff. Just
Mm-hmm.
I do remember I the image of God that I had. We had a chef that worked on the compound for the chateau, and that chef was who I was like, no, if God's gonna look like anybody, it's gonna look like him.
What did he look like?
When I pictured God, I pictured a man in like a button-up suit, just kind of like cooking in the sky.
Yeah.
That was my image.
Do you remember so you lived in Belgium till you were how old?
I'm gonna say like 8 or 9, so not
Okay.
too old.
Do you remember like when you were, young, having questions about God? It sounds like you had some thoughts about him if you were thinking, oh, he probably would look like him.
I never remember having like where do we go when we die sort of
Mhm.
conversations. It hadn't happened in my family yet, luckily enough. Like I'm so grateful that it was never a conversation that we had to have.
Yeah.
Um, but like when my grandparents died when I was pretty young, and it wasn't something that was since we had moved from Belgium, but it wasn't something that was conversed about
Hmm.
explicitly.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it just not that I can remember. If it
Yeah.
did, sorry,
No,
it's
no.
gone.
So, so you were an only child, or you are an only child. So, what kind of things were you into? What kind of kid were you growing up? Like, what
I
did
was
fascinate you?
Yeah, I was a tomboy. Well, with the help of my dad, we had like treehouse. We had a treehouse in the forest behind our yard. We had a dog. I was into both playing with like Batman and Barbie. Like I was just a kid. And then my mom, being the artist that she is, she got me into crafts. So I've always
Mhm.
been a mess maker. um,
Yeah.
with everything's tactile and messy. Um, yeah, and then I was always the tallest, and I prided myself on that.
Hmm. Did you like to read too? I
Oh
seem to
yeah,
remember
oh
you
yeah.
were a reader.
I
Okay.
still brought over a bunch of my books from home. Not even part of my collection. I loved
Yeah.
reading.
What kind of reading was your favorite as a kid?
Fantasy, anything fantasy, and I grew to love angst very soon. So like, even though I didn't read Twilight because it was too grown up for me, I read like baby Twilight books.
Mhm.
Twilight for young ones.
Yeah. Awesome.
I
Now,
love.
are you an English teacher now? Is that what you
Mhm.
teach?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Awesome.
I'm on the nose. Yeah.
Do you like Jane Austen? Are you a Jane Austen fan?
I
No.
wish I knew more. Listen, listen.
No.
After being forced to read classics in high school and college, it's a personal rebellion. I have all of the books. I have them. I've just
Yeah.
not read them.
You've never read Pride and Prejudice? Caitlin.
I know. I know. I feel fake a lot of the time. I've
What?
read a bunch of Shakespeare, if that helps. I've read so many of his stupid novels.
Oh my
Not really
word.
stupid. Being
Oh,
facetious.
you're in England and you could
Yeah.
anyway, I'm not gonna judge you.
Irony
There's
is
there's
not
no
lost.
judgment in this episode. There's no judgment except for about Jane Austen.
I've watched it again. Like I can show you. I have Pride and Prejudice sticker. Huh?
What?
It's because I went and watched the
What?
play.
You're an English teacher. You haven't read the book and you have the movie, the 2005 version on the back of your phone. No judgment. I promised. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm totally not hearing
We
it.
need to talk about Colin Firth. Okay.
Any day of the week.
I digress. We're going to talk about Jesus. Okay.
Fair enough.
For real. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you moved from Belgium, and
Mhm,
if I remember right, you went to Oregon.
mhm.
Okay.
My dad retired, so it was while he was trying to get a job, and that was during like 2008, 2009, which was
Okay.
historically not like the best time to try to find a new career.
Yeah. Yeah. That
So
was what was that? The recession, right?
yeah.
Uh huh.
So a couple of what was meant to be a couple of months while we landed on our feet turned into like a year and a half
Okay.
of living with them.
Okay. You lived with your aunt and uncle.
Mhm.
Okay. Now tell me about that experience because I think it was kind of formative for you, if I remember right.
I mean, living so far away, I didn't grow up with family, like in those like 8 through 9 years or whatever. I didn't grow up around family. Like I didn't have cousins to play with. I didn't have aunts, or I didn't know my grandparents very well. I'd met them maybe once or twice. Although my grandma did send over the best gifts. Um, and then all of a sudden, like over the course of however long that flight was, I'm living in a house with my aunt and uncle, who they have a son, my cousin. He just went to college, so he was coming back and forth. And then I had another aunt in that area with 3 kids as well. So all of a sudden it was just like boom, family all the time, every day, everywhere, constantly around you, and it was a big shift. You know, you're a kid. You want you're like the cool people that you don't know to like you. So I would do things to try to get them to like me, which included like going to church and praying and pretending to read the Bible that they gifted me. Not pretending as in like pretending, but it was more of like I just couldn't read it.
Yeah. Was there, do you remember any curiosity on your part, or do you think it was all just people pleasing?
No, I mean, at some point, yeah, getting back to that people pleasing thing. I mean, I didn't really. I knew that there was other things because there was other kids around me, and my parents are beyond informative of like other people live different lives, and that's okay. That's their life. You live yours. Um, it was kind of just like inherited. So I was thinking like, oh yeah, God, Christian, aunt and uncle, they're cool. So am I. I'll listen to the best of my abilities during those sermons and things like that. Uh, I don't think I ever dug too deep into it,
Mm-hmm.
but I was more interested in playing in the backyard with my dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Did
had
you have,
neighbors at the time, sorry. I'd
did
never
you,
had neighbors before.
did you have any negative experiences with faith during that time that you lived there?
Not directly, no. I mean, it was frustrating in my little girl brain of not being able to sit down and eat dinner immediately instead of having to wait.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's hold hands. Yeah. But other than that, no, no. There were learning now, like being a little bit older. I've been privy to like a couple of things that were not talked about while I was in the room. Um, that did happen between like my parents and my aunts and uncle. Um, that I just wasn't aware of. So it didn't affect me directly until this last couple of years when mom's kind of been a little bit more forthcoming with the information.
um, I don't know if you want to disclose what that was, but did you ever feel pressure to like behave a certain way as far as faith was concerned?
Mm, I don't think so. Not to like toot my own horn, but like I think I was a pretty well mannered kid. That it was never something that needed to be used as a background or anything.
Yeah.
Um, just and what I meant by like conversation I wasn't aware of. There was out of what I believe like concern, like genuine love, is like my aunt and uncle had brought up a couple of times the fact that I wasn't baptized.
Mm.
Um, and like they're genuine, like again, it was genuine concern, but like having conversations about their concern for our souls and like
Yeah.
things like that, not going to heaven, not wanting to watch Harry Potter, uh, things like that. wasn't aware of. Oh, I learned it was my uncle that told me that Santa didn't exist.
Oh,
I
I'm
don't remember
sorry.
that. I don't remember it. Apparently, it was my mom who told me this again. Maybe I just have memory loss because I thought I still believed in him.
Maybe you just told somebody listening that there's no Santa Claus too. I mean, sometimes those things just happen, I suppose. Oh man. So looking back, what was that experience like for you?
As in, like,
Like,
sorry.
was it a positive thing? Was it just kind of eye-opening? Was it like, yeah, I don't want anything to do with that? Like now looking back at it.
it was something like my parents weren't ones to go to church either. So when it was that I wanted to, like on Sundays, oftentimes in reality, I didn't want to get up that early. So it didn't happen very often. Um, I don't remember ever actually feeling connected to what was being said. It was kind of just something that I sat in between my aunt and uncle. When we got like the candles passed around was my favorite part because then I got to play with candle wax.
Yeah.
Like it was just kind of something that I felt like physically present, but mentally thousand stories going on in my brain that did not involve Jesus necessarily.
Yeah. Do you remember any of the stories about Jesus? Did any of them stand out to you?
I mean, I remember learning about things like Noah's Ark and the walking on water. And I was one of the other things I was the bread and like getting to sip the wine, and I was never able to do it because I wasn't baptized. So I do remember always kind of being like, yeah, okay. Honestly, the biggest connection that I have, or the biggest memory that I have of listening and actually feeling something is that stark disconnect that I had, and then going from there.
Yeah. Okay, so you left there, and then just whatever you want to share about the last, 10 years? How many years? 15 years of your life? Yeah. Because you're still quite young.
It doesn't feel like it with these kids putting me through.
Teaching kids will do that. They'll age you very quickly. Yeah.
Yes, gray hairs. I remember it starting in Oregon of that fateful Christmas Eve, and then kind of just from there going. I do remember I love my aunt, and she would always give me like cross necklaces and jewelries and things like that, so I would wear those. But no, I never prayed, or if I did, I didn't. I in my heart I didn't believe that it was going to actually happen. I guess in growing up loving fantasy and like loving reading books and things like that, and knowing that things like like a break in reality was like that Barbie Rapunzel movie where she had her magic paintbrush, and then I remember trying to use my own paintbrush and it not working, and kind of like clicking of like, oh, some things aren't real. What you can see on TV and what I wish were real. Alice in Wonderland. Oh, I wish those potions were real so hard when I was little.
Yeah.
Christianity kind of turned into that of,
Yeah.
it's not real. It's just kind of something that happens to others. Yeah, and then I guess around like middle school, high school age is when I was fully like, oh no, atheist if I have to put a label on it.
Yeah. So, thank you, by the way, for sharing all of that. And
if it's TMI at any point, please let me know.
No, it's not. And listen, this podcast was started because I love a lot of young women from overseas. I don't know how much of that I've shared with you, but like it all started because my Dutch daughter, Lika, and I had a bunch of questions, like a bunch of conversations about God, and she grew up not believing at all. And we'd have these great conversations. And so anyway, long story short, started a podcast and eventually invited her on to have conversations. And it evolved into a lot of different conversations with a lot of different people. So there's nothing you can say that would be TMI as far as your like belief that Christianity is a fairy tale, or that you could say whatever you want. Honestly,
Okay.
You're not going to offend me. You will not offend me,
Okay.
nor will you offend any guest that I bring on here to address anything you bring up, because everything you're bringing up is stuff that's already been addressed before. It's not brand new. Your story is new, obviously, and your fingerprint matters as far as being a co-host on here. But it's not. I want you to have that freedom. This isn't some Christian podcast where please, be really careful and respectful of everything you say. Like we're not doing that here. Is that okay? Okay.
Good to know.
you mentioned, but I think I missed it, that Christmas Eve where you felt
Mm-hmm.
disconnected. Will you describe that a little bit more? Because I know you wrote about it here, but I missed it when we were talking.
No worries.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Christmas Eve one, so that was one of the ones where my parents were more, or they were actively like, okay, no, we're doing this.
Hmm.
Get dressed, put on your fancy clothes. And it was one of those that that was one of the days that we got to hold our candles, and so I was
Yeah.
excited. And it was one where it was in a big outdoor amphitheater. It's such a clear memory. I have no idea why. It's one of those big outdoor amphitheaters where like the steps are made of grass and you like sit on them. So you hoped that you really brought a really nice cushy pad to sit on, otherwise it was gonna be wet grass. Um, and it was like a Christmas themed sermon, and it was one of the priests the talkers.
Hmm. I don't know what
Name is
denomination are you? Michael?
I'm not sure, but
I
it was
don't
one of
know.
the speakers. It was one of the
Yeah.
speakers, and he was saying a story, Christmas themed, and it was talking about how uh, we are gingerbread men. We are all cookies created by God.
Okay.
He hand stamped us and iced us in certain ways, and then he said such a specific sentence of, and because of that, God owns us. He
Mm.
owns us as cookies, and he holds us in his house, and the gingerbread house. Um, and I have always, ever like, even when I was younger, I've always had a problem with that sort of language being used of
Mhm.
ownership and obedience, um,
Mhm.
and it being so blatantly said, uh, of he owns you, he
Mm.
controls you, he
Mm.
controls your fate, your destiny, your future, past death, even. I remember kind of going like,
Mhm.
hold on, pause, and it kind of like if we're talking about like a chart, it had been pretty like plateau for my whole life, and it was after that that it kind of started dipping down, and then after that it was just nothing ever again, nothing aggressive, nothing made
Mhm.
me break things or like break
Mhm.
my faith, but it kind of just fizzled.
Yeah. You seem like a pretty independent, strong-willed person too, so that may have had something to do with it as well.
Where did you
Yeah.
get that idea from?
I
It's
mean,
weird.
even at 9 or 10, I could see that maybe that was something going on for you too. Like, wait a second, what? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. I'm glad I asked about that. Um, so what do you put your hope in? What do you believe about the world? And do you ever think about those things?
I mean, I have my mom and I have had countless conversations about this. She's quite the uh, optimist, while I am not as much. Um, I hope to lead my life with kindness. Like that is what matters, not just like niceness, but like kindness. And I hope that shows in like my teaching and my interactions with friends, with strangers, with family. And I hope that enough people also live by that. Unfortunately, in the climate that we live in today, the loudest voices are often not the kindest.
Yeah.
Um, and so I just hope to, like, as I'm a teacher, English, but also cognitive skills of being able to discern fallacies from not, being able to read something and like genuinely understand it and then make up their own opinions and use those opinions for good rather than self benefit or active harm.
Mhm.
I think if everybody tried to be kind, no matter what denomination, the world would be a lot calmer.
Mm. Yeah. Where do you think that source of kindness comes from?
From others, or
Yeah,
yeah.
like goodness, like
Mhm. I think it comes from making an active effort. I mean, children of course are born as like blank slates. They don't really have their own thoughts yet. other than what they see around them. They're sponges taking in everything that they see, that they hear, that they taste and touch. Um, but it takes active effort, just like to love someone or to do things that you love. It takes active effort and active thoughts. It's not something that can come easily. And I think that's why it's easier to not lead a life like that for
Mm.
some.
Mm. So would it be safe to say that you believe that it comes from within us, that we get to decide whether we get to be good or kind, that we're kind of the masters of our own destiny that way?
Yeah,
That would be, yeah.
it's
Okay.
your choices are your own.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the consequences of your choices often are out of your control.
Yeah.
And so I would hope that, like myself and others, have the forethought of wanting good consequences.
Yeah. What do you think happens when we die?
Um, I think I mentioned it in the last one, and I've had a conversation. My uncle brought this up the last time I saw him before I went off to the Catholic school. He was very excited about that. Um, yes. Um, I think it's kind of like when you sleep, you can know that you're about to sleep, like whether or not you're like really, really tired and you're like falling asleep at your desk, or sometimes it just hits you out of nowhere and you're like, I didn't even remember falling asleep. Um, I guess the difference would be that you wake up in the morning and you know you were asleep.
Hmm.
I think when you die, you don't know. You
You- You're gone.
Yeah, it can happen slowly. It can happen like you know it. It can happen like you don't know it, whether
Hmm.
it's quick or slow or inevitable. Um, yeah.
So
So
the purpose in life would be to be kind while you're here.
yeah,
Would that be fair? Okay.
yeah. This is
Okay.
like the time that you have is all that you have here. Use it
So
well.
make it count. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so I asked for you, thank you again for sharing all of that. I asked you what some questions or doubts you may have about Christianity or belief in general, and to list at least three. And you listed three great ones here. So we'll go through them. But you said the historical fallacies that I don't understand, the belief in fantastical words of a translated Bible written centuries ago, and the preaching of love, but oftentimes hate being the loudest words we hear from Christians. Let's talk about each of those briefly here. The historical fallacies I don't understand. Tell me about that.
I mean, and again,
You're
I've had
not
like conversation.
you're not going to offend me. Say whatever you want.
Okay, I never want any sort of these conversations because I've had them with Kaylee, and I have another Christian friend as well from college that I've kind of probed into her brain about these for, and I never want it to feel like I'm trying to have like an aha moment of like,
No,
I got
yeah.
you.
You, listen, Caitlin, you're a thinker, and that's a beautiful thing. So use whatever thinking you have around these issues. Bring them,
Okay,
bring them. You're not going to
listen.
scare me, and you're not going to scare anybody who comes on here. Do it. Say whatever
Mhm.
you want.
Not to sound like a broken record, but like dinosaurs are really important to me.
This came up on a recording.
And like this is my favorite water bottle. I got it from the Natural History Museum, and part of the things that it has is like years ago, and there's a list of
Mm,
how long ago these things lived, and it goes back so far as to 4,000 million years. And I'm just like, thing. I just don't understand how those things can coexist
mhm,
when we have evidence of such old things.
mhm.
But then also, and I'm not at all educated in a lot of the history of Christianity,
Uh-huh.
or any other religion for that matter. But there's a time limit of, sorry, something floating. There's a time limit in Christianity, right? Of it was like Earth was created this day with this intent, and there was this 9 days of creation,
Seven. Seven.
seven,
Hmm.
a week
Yeah.
of creation. Yeah.
6 days and a day of rest. But there's different theories on those, and we'll definitely have somebody on here to talk a little bit about it. Because you're not the first person to bring that question up at all.
Yeah.
At all. Yeah.
Um, and then I guess it also just pairs with the second one of, and I don't, fantastical words. I don't want it to sound like a meh,
No.
but the idea of like someone actually splitting open an ocean. Did that actually happen? Do you truly believe that actually happened? That a man walked in between like an ocean, or the idea of like walking on water, or like
Mhm.
those sorts of things? Because there's so many stories like that throughout time in every country and every religion, everything like that. I don't. My brain can't comprehend how
Yeah.
those two can coexist.
Yeah. That's good. Keep going. Keep going, girl. You got him. I know you do. I can see it. Don't hold anything back. This is your time. Please.
I
Please speak on behalf of all the atheists and agnostics who might be listening to this later or watching it later. They're rooting for you. So you just
oh
share
god,
whatever. Yeah.
I I think faith is such a powerful thing for so many people. It's like it's saved so many people, and it's an amazing thing for the individual. I I wish, and like I remember wanting to do this. Like when I did pray, I wish I could believe
Mm.
oftentimes that something like this could happen. But same with like I would love it just as much if vampires were real and I could have a vampire boyfriend. Like it's not that I associate them on the same level, but they are on the same plane of, I don't want to say unrealistic, but not real,
Right.
not true.
Right.
Um, and so with the idea of, again, I'm not sure how old the Bible says the world is, but just with that idea alone, just kind of blows my mind if I start thinking about it too hard.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Um, Anything else you wanted to say about the belief in fantastical words of the translated Bible written centuries ago?
I said with a translated Bible specifically because this is one of the things I brought up dinosaurs with my uncle after he had kind of grilled me about my own beliefs, and I was like, "Well, what do you think about dinosaurs?" And he brought open a sermon, or not a sermon, but a passage in the
Mhm.
Bible, and it had talked about like, "Well, this is an example of dinosaurs," and then he talked about like a sea creature and man fighting sea creature, and it was a
Mhm.
big story, I'm sure. And just I don't understand how people could genuinely think that it was real.
Mhm.
Of like Noah's Ark,
Mhm.
genuinely every single creature, two of
Mhm.
them on a boat,
Mhm.
or actually turning water into wine, or actually coming back from the dead. I want to believe in those sorts of things because that could open the door to so much. But I just I I can't believe that it's real.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And I want to ask you in a second here about what it would open for you if it was real. But before I get there, let's talk about that last one. The preaching of love, but the loudest voice being of hatred at times. Go ahead and tell me more about that.
Yeah, I mean it's a saying that ain't no hate like Christian love.
Mhm.
Um while I am personally so beyond grateful that that's not affected me directly, um my mom and her entire family are from the South. It's not been something, I don't know them very well, but it's not been something brought up very often. Um, my family down in Oregon have had some uncomfortable conversations that my mom wishes never happened because she's very much a zip it, Caitlin. um, they're like Christianity is like the biggest religion, right? I think
Mhm.
that's the one
Mhm.
that has the most influence over people, and whether it's something that's really really personal to them or not, too oftentimes the things that make the news are the priests that hurt young children, or the words said that are just bigoted and hateful towards LGBT, like xenophobic sort of ideas, and oftentimes it's being used as like, and this is like out of people's control. I don't. I really hope it. I'm never wanting to like blame someone, but like when it's used as like for God, this is what I'm doing it, and it's just hatred. It's just inhumane, ugh, like a lack of humanity. I just don't.
Yeah.
I wish that those were not the loudest voices, but that's what we see.
Yeah. Yeah. So if that is Christianity, I mean, you wouldn't want anything to do with it. I mean, as I don't think most people would. Have you seen Christianity be modeled differently? I know you have a really close friend who's a Christian. You've talked to Kathy before, her mom.
Mhm.
I mean, it's probably the kind of question where you already know the answer, but it's not a real honest question. But like, I know you've seen something modeled differently. So have you seen something attractive that feels different than that in some of the people you know? Or is it hard to like reconcile that those might be the same thing? Where do you land with that?
It's hard to disconnect the idea that so many people who I know are good, who are amazing. Kaylee is I keep saying kind, but she is the kindest person I've ever met.
Mm.
She has the most golden of hearts. It's hard to separate sometimes the idea that she is somehow connected with everything else, which is
Mm-hmm.
why I think it's really individual. Of like your individual faith is what you need it to be, and that's amazing. If that's what keeps you going, if that's what has given you hope,
Mm-hmm.
it's woken you up, or it helps you wake up in the morning, like that's amazing. i just
Yeah.
I just wish that there wasn't the cloud of nastiness also hovering. And I understand that there's going to be bad apples of every group. You cannot avoid that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to separate and
Yeah.
not feel
Mm-hmm.
meh
Yeah.
about
Yeah. I think I'm going to adopt that. Yeah. No, I understand that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that and being real about that. You said that it would add something to your life, though, to believe that. What do you think it adds? Even if it's on an individual basis, what do you think that believing in something greater than yourself, the hope of eternity, the hope of a God, what do you think that people who have that you don't?
I'm not sure if this entirely answers your question, like the second half, but I think I've talked about it before with Kaylee specifically. Have you watched the show like Supernatural? It was really big in the early 2000s.
No, I was having babies and getting married and stuff. Yeah.
I was too busy having a life. What were you doing?
I watch Mad Men. I don't know. All of that's a blur. I think I watched The Bachelor in the early 2000s. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
I was watching Jane Austen after I read the book.
Okay, point taken.
Okay.
I think if like Supernatural it's just a TV show. It's one of my favorites, don't get me wrong. Um, but they have like heaven and earth, hell, demons, and then everything in between of wendigos, vampires, phantoms, all that kind of stuff. And I always told myself like that if God is real, it would be like that,
Mm-hmm.
where God was in actuality just a man who happened to come into like this position. And I think if I have to associate it on the same level of if God were real, so is everything else. So are the Greek gods. So are uh, every other like Hinduism, Muslim. That's not how I say it.
Islam.
Islam. Thank you. So is everything else.
Mm.
I think not much would change in that I think I'm a good person,
Mm-hmm.
if that's a little bit narcissistic to say.
I think
I
most
don't
people
think
probably think they are.
I don't think I don't think I would change a lot because I don't think that I've done necessarily anything to deserve to go to hell,
Mm.
um, or any other religion's equivalent
Mm.
of their hell.
Mm.
I would love to have some sort of werewolf partner. If those two things could be the same, I'd take it any day of the week. But I, um, I'm not sure how different my life would be.
Okay.
I kind of like the way I'm living it now.
Yeah. Well, you brought up a lot of interesting points there that I don't know if I mentioned before we hit record, but I don't push back on this episode. I hope I haven't, except for with Jane Austen a little bit. Um, I bring in my friends and people that I don't know to do that to share like a deeper perspective. I just like to gather information and connect you and sit back and watch things happen. But has anyone ever shared the gospel with you? Has anyone ever talked to you about like the Christian message?
I mean, my aunt and uncle have a couple of times.
Yeah. Do
My
you
aunt
remember what it
asked
was?
me, I remember my aunt having a conversation with me about wanting me to wear like a chastity ring and uh, having to have that terrible conversation of, I don't really believe in that. Thank you. And her having that realization on her face of, oh, she won't wear one. Okay. Um, it was oftentimes, if anything, to kind of already do what I already did believe. Thanks to my like my parents. They're the best parents. They're the best parents in the world.
Mm-hmm.
um, they raised me to try to lead with kindness, and I think oftentimes, as the young child I was in Oregon, that's how they would oftentimes bring up Christianity,
Mm.
along with the idea of believing, praying, giving yourself over, those sorts of things. I don't have a very specific memory of ever feeling like I was being talked over or maybe even like forced. I don't ever
Mm.
have something like that had
Yeah.
happened.
Do you remember anyone ever telling you like who Jesus was or what he is about?
Yes, but that was because sometime I want to say in like high school or college, I was told that Jesus and God were not the same person.
Mm.
Didn't know that. So then
Mm.
I had a friend kind of explain it to me in a little bit more depth. It was just in like a random car ride. We were getting Starbucks, I think, and she was kind of going like, "Caitlin, no, let me hold your hand when I say this. You're wrong on all sorts of levels."
What did she say to you? I'm curious.
She basically told me the story of Jesus and I had heard about Mary and John,
Joseph.
Joseph, thank you, um, before of giving birth with the animals, and then the kings came. I had seen the scenes with the teeny tiny baby Jesus, um, but until then, it didn't really connect to me that they weren't the same person.
Mm.
And she had told me about the resurrection and like what that meant because I had asked her of like, okay, well, did he actually die? Yes. And then he was buried. And then I asked, did he actually come back to life? Yes. And then from there, it continued. But yeah, that was, so I think I must have been like 18 at the time, maybe 19.
5 years ago.
You have to stop pointing that out.
You're just a baby. You were so young. Just a few years ago. Man, wait till you're my age. It's like, what? 2009 feels like 2 years ago. It's like, wait, no, I was 16. Okay, so what do you think about Jesus? Like, is he on par with the fantastical stories? Like, I mean, the water, parting the sea and stuff peanuts compared to a man like raising himself from the dead, right? Or being raised from the dead. So what do you take of Jesus? Historical figure, mythical figure? What do you think? What do you do about Jesus?
I have not given much thought to him, gotta be honest. I think he was probably a real person. Absolutely. To be able to start at least getting the ball rolling of what was happening. I do think he was a real person from the Middle East. Um, and from there it expanded. I don't think, and I don't have an explanation, but I don't think that he died and came back from the dead.
Mm-hmm.
Um, was this is just showing my ignorance. Was it before or after he died that he was crucified?
He was crucified, and that's how he died.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Thank you. We had a crucified Jesus on our walls in our classroom, everybody, so that's who I looked at every day while I was looking at the clock. I should know that. I think he was a real person,
Mm-hmm.
but I think he died a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And people have just been able to, I don't want to say use him as in like taking advantage, but they've been able to take the goodness for the most part of what he did give and made it into what it is today.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, well, that's good. It's good to know some of that. And one more question that kind of flowed from some of the things you just said: the supernatural realm, uh, hocus pocus, or maybe there's something there. What do you think?
I wish magic was real, but I no. I
Yeah,
don't want to say like I believe in science, but that's what I have in front of me.
I've never seen that before. It's funny. Okay, so miracles don't happen in
No.
your view.
Good
Okay,
good things happen
yeah.
and like amazing things happen. Things that are crazy coincidences and that like logically don't necessarily make sense, but like so many things don't make sense. There's so many things don't make sense. I don't think that it's connected with magic or faith.
Okay, okay. Um, all right. I asked, has the Christian church negatively impacted you? We talked a little bit about that. But you also said that it strained your personal relationship with your family. The use of slurs and the ties to politics we will never agree on hurts. And in turn, I know I'm hurting them, breaking away from what they probably imagined for my life. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. Um since leaving my aunt and uncle, we've visited a couple of times. They're like an 8-hour drive away, wherever I can't even remember how far it is, but they're a long ways away, so it's not like I get to see them very often. Um, but I know that they probably wished for something different for me. I know that they wish that I had gotten baptized, that I continued on my faith journey. And so having that conversation with like my aunt of like, no, I will not wear a chastity ring. Or sorry, purity ring. Have I been saying chastity this whole time?
It's okay. It's the same thing, isn't it?
Purity.
It's pretty much the same thing.
um, and I had a very similar conversation with my uncle of he was hit by a car and he's a paraplegic now. And he has told me that having this happen to him has only strengthened his faith. And again, this is one of those instances where hell yeah. Oh my gosh. Good for you. That's amazing that you have this thing that you feel like you can lean on and lean into. I want that for you. It's when he starts to have these conversations about he and my aunt worrying for me and my soul that it starts to feel a little less heartwarming and just a little bit more icky of you don't agree with me and therefore that's a problem. Um, I remember having conversations during COVID time. It was towards the tail end of COVID that we went and visited them for Thanksgiving. And my uncle had called it like the Chinese virus. And I had to go like, whoa, whoa, let's have a conversation about that. And though I'm certainly not like the best person to talk to about that, and having him be so isolated where he is now, along with my aunt, because both of them are retired age. They go to church as often as they can, but because of that, that is who they are surrounding themselves with. I know that I'm hurt by what they have said. This isn't like TMI, but like I'm part of the LGBT community.
Mm-hmm.
And hearing them say like the F slur before and blatantly hating that and knowing that he was once he was the coolest person in the world. He was my cool uncle. He built me like a swing on the tree. Knowing that that is also what he believes in, just, it hurts me. And I know that what I think hurts them.
Mm-hmm.
And that just sucks.
Yeah.
And with that being tied with politics, which is so very prevalent today, it creates a lot of thin ice and like walking on eggshells, and that's a sucky feeling to have with your family.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone like strangers that you wish you could get to know, but not knowing whether or not they wish you were dead or not.
Do you think that he wishes you were dead?
No. And it's not like I've straight up told him, but he wouldn't support it. He would actively hate it, which just sucks to know.
Mm-hmm. So if he watches this video later, is it going to open up some conversations?
An awkward WhatsApp call, yeah. Like a month after I left, because we visited them. They lived with my grandparents. We visited them right before I moved to London, right before I got into the Catholic school. He had been sending me quite a few videos. Again, not to sound like a broken record, but he kept sending me videos about how dinosaurs and God is real in both of them. So if he ever were to find out about this, I think it would be quite a few.
He might be excited that you opened up about all this, Katelyn. You never know. He sounds like he cares about you if he's building things. Yeah.
He is such a strong man with strong beliefs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And those beliefs just aren't always
the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you kind of strike me as a strong woman with some strong beliefs too. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, are you related to each other? Okay. This might actually give your uncle some hope here. You said there's a question on here. Jesus in the Gospels, he said that he was the way, the truth, and the life. There was no one comes to the Father except through him. He also said that he's a good shepherd who lays down his life for the sheep. And the question here is, if what Jesus said was true, would you want to know? And you said yes. Why?
Can I be very honest?
Yeah.
Didn't really understand what that said.
Okay.
In that, with his saying of, like, I'll lay my life down for you, and then the following question of, would you want to know?
Yeah.
Are you saying, like let's say, like, I die, like, the way that I took it, at least, of answering that question of, like, if I died, would I like to know whether or not God is real? Is that what you were saying? And whether or not...
Well, when you die, I guess you'll know for sure. I mean,
yeah.
We don't need to discuss that. I'm talking about if what Jesus said about himself is true. Because Jesus made some pretty outrageous claims about himself.
Okay. So you would... So, like, whether or not he was lying? Or...
Yeah, would you want to know if he was telling the truth? If he was... Yeah, if those things were true about him, would you want to know? Would you want to, like... discover that?
Yeah, I mean, I would... I don't see why I wouldn't want to know. I would like to know if this person that has been connected and worshipped so heavily for so long was who he says he was. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we talked about all of these different things. And I'll just skip some of the final stuff here because we've gone over it. But why are you here besides the fact that you felt bad for the puppy dog over here? You didn't have to come back for a second conversation. You're in London. There's no, like, I don't have some invisible string. So what do you hope to get from this experience where I now take what we've just talked about and I'm going to reach out to a bunch of people and they're going to come on here and they're going to address the different things you brought up. And if you're free and you want to be part of those conversations, you will be invited. There's no obligation that you come back for those, but they will be interesting conversations. And certainly I will bring up some of the stuff that you did on your behalf if you're not here. But what would you hope to get from this kind of experience? Because these are people that have spent a lot of time investing in the questions that you've brought up. So is there anything that you would want from that?
I mean, I think I've been telling Kaylee about this. I tell her everything. This isn't something that I've really put a lot of thought into. Like my own personal beliefs. Like again, I don't even necessarily like saying, "Oh, I'm atheist." It's just kind of like a label of something that I've not genuinely thought about very often. And so not only like having these talks both before and now, but like in preparation as well, it's got me thinking more purposefully about things and like what I believe and how to word it properly. Although I'm sure if I listen to this again, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to handle an hour of my voice. I'm sure that like listening back, I'll be able to even further think and figure things out, I guess. Yeah, I guess I've not really thought that there's a lot to figure out, but being asked questions and in turn being able to ask questions has been nice.
Yeah. Would you like to be here for some of those follow-up conversations if you can?
Sure. I am not the voice of all non-believers.
Well, if you're not there, guess who is? I'm a little biased.
Okay. So, yeah, that would be something that I think I told you before, like I'm pretty open, even though I've not thought about it. I'm pretty much an open book on what I believe and why. I don't think any conversation, the most thing that I'd be worried about is that I hate being told you're wrong because I think you're wrong. So I don't want to do that to others. That's my biggest concern, probably, of not wanting to make others have that feeling of, who do you think you are? Because I know I ask that a lot.
As far as it depends on me, I promise not to bring anybody on here who would have that kind of reaction to anything that you say.
Okay.
I just want to validate you are very respectful and you are very articulate, and I respect your point of view and your voice matters. And you not only have a voice for people who maybe feel the same way you do, but like I said earlier, there are people who do sit in the pew at church and who do wrestle with some of the same questions that you just brought up. And so for you to be able to articulate them opens up a wrestling for those people that maybe they haven't allowed for themselves before. Now, I told you I'm biased. I am. You know, I'm a Christian. I wouldn't do this podcast if I wasn't. I mean, there's a force that moves me that allows me to do this kind of work in a compelling way that I don't think I would do if I didn't believe in what I'm talking about. But I've sat through a lot of conversations about a lot of these topics that you've brought up, every single one of them. And I can tell you that there are some really, really compelling things that the Christian faith has to say about every single thing that you just brought up. And so if people have that, they don't need to be afraid of you bringing up anything. because if something's true, it holds true even if it's attacked. So you haven't attacked anything, but go ahead and throw your best darts at it, because I don't want to believe in something that's a lie, and you don't either. And the whole podcast is called Finding Something Real. If I didn't believe that Jesus was the real deal, that he was something special, that he wasn't just one of a million different supernatural things, but he was the one and only thing that we can put our trust in, that he is God, the Son of God. I don't agree with your friend who said he wasn't. But like, if I didn't believe all that, I wouldn't be doing this, because I'm just leading a bunch of people astray, right? I'm just leading them to a bunch of like wishful thinking, good for you. I'm not here for that. I'm here because I believe this is the real thing, full stop, you know? And so that's the only pushback I'm going to give to you on this. But I want you to know that I hope that when you are in any of these recordings, you feel loved, you feel valued, and you feel like your voice matters, because it does.
Oh,
And so
thank you.
that's not how the kids do it anymore. I know. Yeah.
You can get the finger strength. What are you, a millennial?
Well, I always ask a final question that I forget to ask on this particular episode, but the Finding Something Real podcast, Katelyn, it's about restoration, eternity, authenticity, and love. And as a Christian, I believe that each of those things, restoration, putting together all that's broken, eternity, not just this side of, death, but the other side, authenticity, who we really are without any pretense, and love, this, acceptance and like deep, deep love, that we can only, like, I believe that all of those things are fully found in Jesus. Which of those things stands out to you the most in your life right now, and why? Restoration, eternity, authenticity, or love? And one of those deep questions, I know.
You're a real thinker. I standing out. I guess it would probably be a combination between that love and authenticity. Being so far away from my support system has been super hard. And then I went back for the 3 weeks, and I felt nothing but love. And then knowing that I'd be coming back here without a strong support system at hand, especially now that I'm moving, making sure that I stay authentic to myself has been challenging. Mm-hmm. And I know it's going to get even more challenging when I have 30 teenagers saying, "Miss, Miss," in a week.
But they're going to have great British accents when they do that.
Miss, Miss. Oh, I'm not meant to be prepared for that, but I'll get there.
Katelyn, I'm really excited. Thank you so much for being on here. And yeah, until next time. Okay.